Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be reacting to Sonny Brisko cook Aglio Olio. Let's go.
Oh, hi guys, I just wanted to show you how I make
Oh damn, that's a change of pace.
my Aglio Olio spaghetti today.
Okay, so before we get started, Aglio Olio is a very simple spaghetti recipe. It calls for red pepper flakes or red peppers, parsley, preferably Italian parsley, spaghetti, and olive oil, lots of that, salt, and garlic. Let's see how he does.
First thing you're gonna need, pan, pot, salt, goes in the pot with water, boiling water, max it out, but we'll get to that soon. Introducing today's ingredients.
So, the ingredients he chose are pretty correct, but I don't really see the parsley. And one other thing, it's important when you're boiling water to have the water at a boil, at a very, very high boil, because when you add the pasta in, it's going to drop the temperature of the water.
Chili, garlic, cheese, gotta have it, parsley, in.
Okay, the amount of parsley he uses is not a lot. Usually you would use like double, triple that amount. And I guess he's cooking with one hand, so he can't really afford to be like using two hands to like separate the stems with the leaves and everything. But I guess it's fine. It's fine for what it is.
Spaghetti. And finally, olive oil. It's in the name. I'm gonna show you how to make all of this into a scrumptious little meal you can make at home with just one hand.
See, Aglio Olio, you can make with one hand. That's how easy it is.
First thing you want to do, pot full of water, exactly 600 milliliters. Now, most people would use a measuring cup, but I don't need to do that because I can hear exactly how much water is going into the pot, and I'll show you what I mean. Here I go.
Okay, so when you put water into the pot, just make sure you put a lot in, but not enough to like for it to boil over. Or you could just cook pasta less and less at a time. That also works when you are making dishes like that. When you are making pasta dishes. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how much water you use. It just has to be enough for you to be submerged when you do cook it. But if you want to be specific, 600 milliliters should be a good amount.
Bam. Wait. See, that's a little bit too much. And what do we do about that? You hear that?
Oh.
Exactly 600
Okay.
milliliters. I can tell from the acoustics. All that water, where does it go? On the stove, where it belongs. Get that heat up. Maximum. A stands for atomic. Salt. In. Keeps the water keeps the water salty.
Okay. One thing I want to point out is that when you add the salt, usually people add the salt in when the thing's at a roiling boil. So roiling boil is like a stage above boiling. So, and then that allows the salt to dissolve faster. My only concern is that adding it in too early might make the water a little saltier because the water is going to reduce down as it starts to boil, but I don't think it should be too big of a problem. Okay, what is he doing with that leak?
While the water's boiling, we're gonna take care of this stuff. Chop it up nice and fine, dicey, slicey. Bam! And you might be asking, how am I gonna do all that with just one hand free? Well, when you're a master chef such as myself, it's as simple as that. This isn't gonna work. How am I gonna chop this all up with only one hand free? Well, obviously I was going to use the secret technique passed down from my ancestors, so I can't show you. However, you can also ask your family for your family's secret technique to chop things up with one hand. So we're gonna do a little jump cut, skip up ahead here after I've chopped it all up. Done, and I want you.
Ooh, okay. Actually, that looks pretty. That's pretty good. That chopping's pretty good. Everything looks pretty uniform. The garlic looks pretty goodly chopped. Is also very important when you are making aglio olio. At least for I don't know if it's a personal opinion thing, but I prefer to have slices in there so you could taste the garlic, because I fear of burning the garlic if you do mince it. Fresh peppercorns, I don't really use that because I find it a little too spicy. So I usually just use pepper flakes, which is also a great alternative.
You to pay close attention. Garlic into discs, chili into slices, parsley into dust. Now that's done. We need to go over here. First thing, olive oil into the pan. Heat levels maximum, which is about 6. Let that oil heat up just a little bit. Once it's heated up, garlic in. Once your water comes to a rolling boil, spaghetti in. Use your fork to twist the pasta around. Try and submerge it as much as possible, unless you have a bigger pot, in which case it should already be submerged at this point. Meanwhile,
yeah, that's actually very important. When you cook pasta, you want a bigger pot. So then, yeah, he's right. You need to submerge it in the water if you have a bigger pot. But I guess you work with what you have. Yeah, make sure when you crank the heat up, when you are putting in the olive oil and the garlic, that it's not too high, and you don't set it for too long, because that risks burning the garlic, and that's never good. Don't burn anything.
garlic's starting to sizzle. Chili, all in, baby. Mix your chili and your garlic around in the oil, get them nice and evenly cooked. And you want this pasta to boil for about 7-8 minutes, maybe 10, maybe 11. Don't forget to mix your spaghetti around very carefully, because it's a very delicate process. When your chili garlic has been on for about 2 minutes, turn it down low, I want to say about 3. Let it keep going while the pasta softens and cooks. When it's been boiling for about 100 minutes, you want to grab maybe 1 strand of pasta, twirl it up in your fork, Italian style, and give it a taste. Needs a little bit more. I'm going to say it's still a little bit tough, so I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. Not neglecting our garlic chili. It's getting pretty brown now. It'll be perfect by the time the pasta is finished cooking. What about
one thing I do like about Sonny's cooking style is that he doesn't really use too many measurements, except for the water thing, which I feel like is an optional step, which I really like. What did Uncle Roger say? You cook with feeling, right?
1 minute left to cook the pasta, so now's the time to put the parsley in. I'm all in, baby. Garlic's getting a perfect brown. It's just about time to put the spaghetti in. Final taste to make sure it's cooked properly. Perfect. That's what we call al dente. Still a tiny bit stiff, but it's going to get cooked by the remaining heat and being put in the pan.
That's actually a very important thing that most people kind of forget. I find that al dente literally translates to the bite or to the tooth. I forgot which one, but what that means is that when you bite into the pasta, there's a bit of stiffness in it. That's called, I think the Italians call it the anima of the pasta, or the soul of the pasta. That means the pasta is cooked just enough for you to add to the pan, and you can finish it off in the sauce that he's gonna make.
Heat off the pasta, keep it on low on the pan. Start transferring spaghetti. Start mixing it up a little bit, and also have a little bit of pasta water. It's got pasta essence and salt in it. Really got that pasta dashi. Just a little dash of that. Mix that around as much as you can. Let the water evaporate, not 100%, but enough that we aren't having Italian ramen.
So, pasta water. The reason why you would add pasta water to it, yes, he's right. It does add salt, but pasta water also contains starches in it. What the starches will do is that as it reduces down with the sauce, is that it'll thicken the pasta up as you mix it in.
Now at this point, while the water's evaporating, you're going to grate that cheese up and mix it in with the pasta with some salt and pepper. Grated cheese, now that's amore. Salt and pepper, get it in there! And really just mix it all in so all the flavors are evenly spread out throughout the whole pasta, the whole dish. Feel free to add a little extra salt and pepper or cheese if you need a bit more seasoning. I think.
So one thing I would do is like add this cheese later on. My fear is that since the pan is too hot, the cheese will melt too much and become kind of goopy. What you could do is you can just add like a scoop of pasta water, kind of balance that out a little bit. And aglio olio, usually people put cheese at the very, very end of the dish, from what I've seen.
I might need a little bit more on mine. Just look at that. Spaghetti, nice and soft. Still a little bit al dente for sure. Heat all the way down to 0. That stands for time to plate. Easy now. And with one clean, you might think, what a mess, but allow me to reveal to you the delicate art of plating.
So, if you look at the very bottom of the pasta, you can see a layer of like oil and stuff. There's an easy way to get around that. You can easily mix it up, like I guess what he's about to do, I think. Or put a little scoop of pasta water in and aggressively toss the pasta up in the air. This will add air into the pasta, which will cool it down and thicken the sauce up and everything in it.
Use your fork. Fold it all inwards, and that's the key. Folding, just like origami. Make a nice little mountain of spaghetti right in the center of the plate. And on the final fold, you want to give it a little bit of a twist. Looking much better already, but we're not done. Final garnish. Cheese, pepper, salt. Now that really puts the moon in your eye, like a big pizza pie. Final touch, really delicate process here. Check this out. Oh, bellissimo. And that's it. A steaming plate of aglio olio de peperoncino made with just one hand. But how's the taste? Let's find out. Oh, look at that.
Oh, you already know. That pasta is going to be great. Like, I see almost not. There's a few minor mistakes, but overall, I think it's a pretty good video. He made it pretty well. I think all that this is missing is just a little bit of parsley, and then just like minor things, like adding the salt after the water comes to a boil, or like adding the pasta a little bit later so when the water comes to a boil. But it's a pretty good meal. It's a pretty good dish. And yeah, I think he did a great job at executing it. Alright, see you next time.